All right, let's talk about some operators in Python. So we're going to talk about two kinds of operators. We're going to talk about sort of arithmetic operators and then operators where the outputs are Boolean data type. So arithmetic operators are the same things that you do sort of with your calculator. What I want you to remember about arithmetic operators is that the outputs are always int. So what we're not going to have is sort of a division operator, right? Because when you divide two numbers, you don't know that the answer is going to be a whole number. So when we talk about arithmetic operators, remember that the output, the thing you get, is always just going to be an int. So the traditional ones that you have are addition, that just uses the plus sign. Subtraction just uses the minus sign. And then we're going to talk about these four. So this star here is multiplication. It does exactly what you think it does. 2 star 3 would spit out a 6 because 2 times 3 makes the integer 6. The one with 2 stars is exponents. And so 2 star 3 is what you consider as 2 to the third in your calculator. So this would spit out an 8. These next two operators are the ones that sort of correlate to division. So think about these last two operators as sort of division-ish, division-like. So when you divide a number, you get a quotient and a remainder, right? So if we were to do long division and we did 24 divided by 7, then if you remember back to your long division days, you would say 7 goes into 24 3 times with a remainder of 3. Maybe that's a bad example. Let's try 25 so that the two numbers are not the same. 25. So 7 goes into 25 3 times with a remainder of 4. So in this case, my quotient is going to be 3, and my remainder is going to be 4. Well, 3 and 4 are both ints. So these double slashes give you the quotient after division. And this percent sign gives you the remainder after division. So in this example we just did, 25//7 would spit out 3, because that was the quotient part. And 25% 7 would spit out 4, because that's the remainder. We could do another one. We could do 8 divided by 2. So 8 divided by 2. So 2 goes into 8 4 times with a remainder of 0. So 8//2 would be 4, integer division just like you remember it. And 8% 2 would be 0 because there is no remainder. I want to draw your attention to the Python syntax sheet, which you can find in the course page. It has examples of all these. It reminds you of what the syntax does. That's the thing you should keep sort of as a reference there. Keep it bookmarked or print it out or something so that you have all these. It shows you all the operators and what they do. Okay, so let's talk now about the Boolean operators. So the important part about Boolean operators is that their outputs are always Boolean. Their inputs, not necessarily Boolean, but their outputs are always Boolean. So no matter what you put into this, if you put ints into here, if you put strings into here, if you put Booleans into here, the output is going to be Boolean. Okay, so the first operator is comparison, whether they're equal or not. Equal or not. So this is 2 equal signs. This will output to you a true if the items are the same, and a false if they're different. Okay, this second operator with the exclamation point in front of the equals is not equal. So it's sort of the opposite of that last operator we just had. So it will do exactly the opposite of before. It will give to you a false if the items are the same, and a true if the items are different. So let's pick two things. Let's pick 7 and 8. So 7 and 8 are not the same. If I do 7 equals 8, this is going to return false because these two are not the same. If I do 7 not equals 8, exclamation point 8, this is going to return a true because they're not the same. We don't have to just use two integers on each side, right? We could do some operations. We could say 3 plus 1, and we could do equals equals, and we could do 8% 2, yeah? So before we can test whether these are true or not, we would have to evaluate those two operations. So on the left is addition, so this would be a 4. On the right is, remember that percent means remainder. So when you do 8 divided by 2, the remainder is 0. So this guy is going to output to us a false because these two things are not the same. Okay, these last four are greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. So again, if the inequality holds, it's going to spit out to you true. If not, it's going to be a false. So if I said 7 less than 2, this would say, nope, false. That's what I spit out to you. If I say 6 greater than or equal to 5 plus 1, this would say true. Yes, I can compare those. Okay, the last operators are sort of logical operators, and we're going to spend more time on these in coming weeks, but these are the three that you'll see most often. So these inputs of these things, or the things you compare, are Boolean. And then it outputs a Boolean to you. So and, this is going to return a true when both inputs are true. So if we say true and false, no, false. If we say true and true, true. Okay, or this is going to return a false when both inputs are false, and it returns true all the other times. True all other times. I guess over here we should say false all other times. Okay, the last logical operator that we talk about is not, and this has the opposite truth value. So if your input is a true statement, then the not is going to give you a false statement. If your input was false, then the not is going to be true. So true turns to false, and false turns to true.